Hello, hello. Hello. Hi, Camelia. And the usually quiet Scorpio. Come on in the room. Yes, I had to hit y'all with some Tyler tonight. I'm gonna get another copyright strike, but fuck it. I like music. Don't say, no time. Running out of time. Oh, hey y'all. Tell me you love the Cappies tonight. I love everybody all the time. I love his music too, Reflection and Progression. Tyler the Creator is exceptional. This Igor album was, when I say the best project in the last 10 years, like it was amazing. Very talented. Hey, Angelica. Yeah, come on in. So as you can see in the title, tonight I am going to be talking about my love-hate relationship with every sign in the zodiac. And I mean, this is not like a super formal kind of presentation or nothing, but you guys can, of course, as always, feel free to share your input and experiences. But this is just me rambling, right? A quarantine rant, if you will. So I'm gonna let some more people come on in the chat. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button too on your way in. That's very important. Yeah, I'm gonna drag everybody. I'm an equal opportunity dragger. Them Libras is the worst. Why don't you like Libras? The usually quiet Scorpio. What's wrong with Libras? All right. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with the first zodiac, or first sign of the zodiac. All right, which is Aries, of course. And ironically enough, we are currently in Aries season. I meaning to do my Aries exposed video. Y'all don't let me forget that. Oh, and I never did Pisces exposed either. I'm tripping. Libras are fickle. I can see how you say that. Fake. I understand. I can understand how they can be perceived as fake. Call me toxic, but I like Geminis. What do you like about them, Angelica? I understand, and I guess I'll save my tidbit for when I get to Libra, but I understand how people can call them fake. But also I'm biased because I mean I'm a Libra rising. But I get it. So Aries, like I said, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is a positive masculine sign, typically associated with the head, right? So these are people who are, I mean, they can embody these traits by way of being very courageous, people who are very much um, outgoing, driven, headstrong people who are driven by their passions, even, that's how you want to phrase it. Because Aries is governed by Mars, and Mars is the planet of literally your passion, the things that drive you, right? The things that kind of fuel you and propel you forward. Um, so a lot of times these people on a personality level can embody certain qualities like being very dominant, very, like I said, headstrong. They can come across as people who are very one track minded at times. But the very lower vibrational ones can even be confrontational. That's how they kind of get that reputation, right, for being combative or defensive, because Mars is also the sign of warfare and protection. So, and these people are endowed with a very strong sense of self-preservation, which really, like, if you, depending on how you want to look at it, can make them very selfish. But these people can only serve other people to the extent in which they've been able to have their own needs met as well, if that makes sense. So I guess what I love and what I really dig about Aries Sun or prominent, Mars dominant people, I guess, would be that they are so, I would say brave. Aries deals with risk taking. They are the risk takers of the zodiac, right? Along with Leos. And, a lot of times these people don't um have the time to sit back and cower in fear. And even if they're wrong, right, wrong, or indifferent, these are people who typically, for the most part, kind of stand solid and stand strong in all of their decisions. Um, and I respect that because it's like I said what I said. It is what it is. And in life, confrontation is needed. And this from a personal experience, me being a Libra sun, I have all in Venus, I've always kind of had this as a child anyway, this tendency to try to accommodate, right, other people. And, with Libra being Aries, opposite sign, Libras on one hand can be kind of doormats or pushovers or people who feel compelled to cave into, pressures and expectations because you crave that relatability with other people. I respect Aries and their ability to be like, I said what I said, I did what I did, because a lot of times these people have a very strong sense of self that kind of gets them through tight spaces. And I really fuck with that. Now, what I hate about Aries is really I hate them for the same reason that I love them. So to an extreme extent, like I said, if we're talking about lower vibrational people, they can be reckless. They can be super impulsive, very similar to Sagittarius, which ironically enough, right? My best friend is an Aries. And every time we get together, like somebody got to call the cops, like, because we burn the shit down, setting the shit on fire, like two fire sign women, just out of control. But I love that shit. Like I love it. They rock when I roll, but at the same time, it can be a bit much. And sometimes it can even come off as very, uh, I guess you could say willful, just for the sake of being willful, right? Wanting to be right, just for the sake of wanting to be right. And it does get old. It can get tiring. It can get annoying. A lot of times these people are struggling between, there's like this constant battle between asserting their will and asserting dominance over other people, and then fighting to prevent other people from asserting dominance over them. So it's like it's always some level of conflict going on with a Aries dominant person. So I'll never understand why Aries sons like such boring earth signs. Don't sleep on the earth signs though. I got a Leo rising, keeps me guessing. Or keeps me interesting, sorry. Yeah, fire signs will definitely keep you guessing. Now with Leo is a fixed fire sign, so it's a little bit more predictable than your Aries or maybe even Sagittarius. Because with Aries being cardinal fire, cardinal initiates and directs new energies, new states of being. So, which ties back into them being really good leaders. And a lot of cardinal signs have that type of quality about them as well. But when you add that in tandem with them, like I said, being naturally brave, naturally courageous, risk-taking style, individuals, that it can make for, if it's the right person who is self-actualized, a self-actualized Aries can take over the world. Unfucking stoppable. Unstoppable. Aries, Sun, Libra, Moon, Mercedes. Okay, so you got the best of both worlds going on. So you probably feel like you're kind of, uh, you know, pulled in both directions. Hey, Rendezvous. Sierra said, I think Earth signs ground Aries Sun. I can see that for sure. For sure. For sure. So now I guess we can move on to Taurus, which is a negative feminine sign, right? It comes right after Aries. And Taurus is ruled by Venus, making it once again a feminine planet, but from a characteristic type of level. A lot of Taurus dominant people, Venus dominant individuals tend to exude certain qualities, such as being, stable, sturdy, secure. This is Taurus specifically. Reliable. These people can be very, like I said, dependable people, and people who don't like to veer far from the methods and measures that they're used to. They like comfortability, if I use it. And they pretty much, and this is where they get their reputation for being stubborn, right, and being a fixed sign. And I guess what I like about Taurus is that I like that level of dependability and reliability. Now, typically, Taurus and Sagittarius don't do well with one another. But if I can just be 100% honest, I do admire that about a lot of Tauruses. They are these are people who are a lot of times the breadwinners in their family, the people that you can always count on to show up and show out. Um, Sometimes they run into an issue of like being taken for granted, but you always need somebody. Like everybody can't be on 10, right? Everybody can. What's the saying? There are too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Taurus is definitely the Indian, but they're not willful followers, very fixed, and they're going to stay true to their nature. But, much like Virgo, these are people who kind of find their own niche, and they just kind of, they just play their role. They play their role, especially if it's tied into a sense of security, for them. So these people are very like financially and like externally motivated and driven, which I guess what I hate about them is that it can create a very superficial person, right? Somebody who assigns value and meaning to shit that's not really, I mean, in my opinion, valuable, but whatever, right? They can also get the reputation, you're right, for being lazy, D. Clifford, and that's because given that they're ruled by Venus, a lot of Taurus individuals are driven by comfort as well. Although they're willing to work hard, I guess the caveat to that is if there's something in it for them, right? If there's an external factor, motivating factor that's going to push them to, do A, B, C, and D, then they'll do it. And 9 times out of 10, it'll be like money or food or whatever. But left to their own devices, that Venus influence makes these people very much, like I said, comfort driven. And what do you do when you get comfortable? You kick off your shoes and relax your feet. Honey, you just chill. You chilling. You chilling until somebody come and tell you different. This is why another reason why Taurus and Libras don't really do well in stressful environments. Certain people thrive in stressful environments or can at least tolerate them more than others. But once again, due to that Venus influence, these people are driven by comfort and pleasure, and they like things to kind of be on the even keel. They don't do well in like sticky, tricky situations, constant transformation. That's the reason why Scorpio is Taurus's opposite signs, right? My stepdad is a Taurus, trifling as hell. My stepdad is a Taurus, and he's trifling as hell. So you know what usually quiet Scorpio? I'm with you there. My stepfather is a dark-sided Scorpio, dark-sided Taurus, and he, first of all, so materialistic. But Tauruses are even known to play favorites, especially like a Taurus parent, which my stepfather has always done, like, favoring my brother over me. And he's just they can be very unyielding. And I guess it's another negative quality and something that I hate about Tauruses. Like it's like they could be so like, because Taurus is the sign of values and standards. These people naturally have their own set of values, and like I said, they assign worth and value to things, and they could do this to like people, places, and things. And then they kind of just like impose these values on other people, or even like judge you in your ability to live up to those values. Just because that's what you value doesn't mean that's what I value. My mentor Rabina always says that Taurus is the sign of cult leader, which is a very interesting observation because it makes sense with them being so unyielding and, like I said, so hell bent on enforcing whatever standard that they see fit. It's like, nigga, nobody gives a fuck about that but you. Leave me alone. And it's, in a certain respect, it can be kind of judgmental. They can be, I would argue, one of the most judgmental signs of the zodiac. Of course, obviously, Virgo is somewhere in the mix, as well as Leo. But we'll get to them later. Stubborn, arrogant, and controlling. And that, yeah, it could also manifest in them being very controlling. Yes, absolutely. I'm a Taurus, Gemini rising, Venus in Aquarius. That is a Virgo sun, Taurus moon, and I'm a Capricorn sun. So he calls me lazy, and he's lazy too. Oh yeah, my stepdad loves his snacks. He will spend. He's a cheapskate, but he will spend his money on food. Okay, he spares no expense when it comes to a meal. They are very judgmental. At their worst, at their best, stable, generous, grounded. Yes, and I love the fact that Tauruses are very grounded and practical, and like I said, reliable. So these are the people who you can rely on. Like if you have a business or something, these are great employees. They make great workers. Not for nothing, Taurus is also the sign of the conformist. These are people who do really well with like following the rules that you set forth. Or I mean, not just you, just in general, rules that are set forth. You're not really shaking the table. These are people who, can be good for that type of thing. And they do make great worker bees. They do. I couldn't do it, but somebody got to do it, right? I heard food and I already know y'all talking about. For real, Taurus placements can be gluttonous. They can be. And hoarders, hoarding physical items. My stepfather is a grade A hoarder. He won't let you throw anything away. But if it's yours, he'll throw your shit away, but you can't throw his shit away. So that's something else I hate about Taurus. You love food, nurse in jail. You like your snacks. And Taurus is very sensual. So, these are people who are driven by, yes, they are the collectors of the zodiac. Very much so. And that goes back to, identifying themselves with their material and physical possessions, which can be problematic as fuck. Have y'all seen an episode of Hoarders? But I forgot what I was going to say just that fast. So yeah, Tauruses are something else. Yeah, and that gives way into possessiveness. Sure does. Why are Taurus women always so beautiful or pleasant to be around? Well, I mean, the Venus element, right? Especially like Taurus ascendant women can be beautiful, can be pleasant. But I often find, especially when you're talking about like somebody who has Taurus on the ascendant, Taurus in the first house, with that opposition, right, of Scorpio sitting on the descendant or in the seventh house, these people tend to have a very shadow side of their personality that could be very dark and ugly. And a lot of times they tend to project it off onto other people, but deep down inside, they can be just as possessive, just as mean, just as nasty as your dark-sided Scorpio. I like Taurus moons, but the suns get on my nerves. I don't do well with Taurus individuals. I actually had an old best friend who was a Taurus, and hence she's an old best friend. So, yep, I'm reckless like that. Why are you reckless like that? The women abuse their men verbally. They can be nasty. They can be nasty for sure. And like I said, very resistant to change. So they do have the tendency to have to learn things the hard way. A great example of this is Yaya Mayweather. She's actually a Taurus sun. If you haven't seen my live stream on that, check that out. But she definitely is a Taurus sun who embodies a lot of those qualities I don't care for. In terms of her being possessive, you can tell she's very materialistic, but did she really stand a chance? Her father is Floyd Money Mayweather, crying out. And a lot of Taurus women do have their spoiled because they do have fathers. They come from fathers that are providers and whatnot. For some reason, I have a love-hate relationship with Sagittarius. What sign are you? She is I forgot. She's a Sagittarius mom. That's a whole different can of worms right there. So moving on to Gemini. Gemini is actually a positive masculine sign governed by the planet Mercury. And I like Geminis, or what I love about Geminis is their wit. I love how witty they are, right? Them being governed by Mercury. But it's a different type of energy they bring to the table because we all know Virgo is governed by Mercury as well. Geminis tend to be very like I said, flexible, open-minded, light-hearted. These are people who are like I said, quick-witted. These are people who have um they like very similar to that Libra energy, and I guess it's because they're air sign as well. They do place a lot of value on intellectual stimulation, but also a certain level of relatability, right? Um, talking to people. They are very alert, very agile, very curious. The phrase curiosity kills the cat would definitely apply to your Gemini. And I love that because I feel like everybody should encompass or have that kind of like childlike curiosity in life. But I guess what I wouldn't like, I don't like about, and I don't really know too many Geminis, but what I would say I would hate about Gemini is um their tendency to kind of be wishy-washy, right? This is why they also get the reputation for being two-faced. And because, Gemini deals with duplicity, duality, they tend to understand both sides of whatever given situation, which for obvious reasons it can look funny. It can look funny. It can look funny. They are also very entertaining. You're right, Major DZ. And they are some of the biggest gossipers of the zodiac. But that goes for all air signs, though. I would say Geminis and Libras might be neck and neck in the gossip department. But nonetheless they can be gossipers. Yeah. Uh-huh. I can't stand other Gemini females. Their humor just doesn't hit with me. Maybe it's because I'm a Gemini myself. Maybe. So I'm a Gemini rising Venus, Mercury. So does that mean have? It just depends on. That's really up to you, Amy LaShine. Based on what you resonate. I can't tell you how what energy you should resonate with, because people could have the same birth chart, but they respond differently to it. So you got to let me know. You got to answer that question for me. Geminis are the class clowns of the zodiac. The class clowns. Once again, that's that ability to be quick on their feet. At the very least, very least, these are people who will slice and dice you with their words. They will rip you a new one. Rip you a new one. Both my parents are Gemini moons, always asking questions and inquiring. Yep. My daughter's a Gemini moon. And I mean, talking a mile a minute. A mile a goddamn minute. Why? 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 They can also be contrarians too. Which I'm not gonna say I hate that about them, but I can see how a lot of people can hate them for it. So these are the people when the public decides to go left, they want to go right. If everybody comes to the agreement that the sky is blue today, your Gemini will be like, actually, it's orange. And who's gonna check me? They can have very short attention spans, yes, because they're very flighty. That kind of short circuit mental energy that kind of leaves them scatterbrained and whatnot. That's why of all the signs of the zodiac, they are most likely or more prone to things like ADHD and even bipolar disorder and so on and so forth. My Gemini Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. I hate that with the clap, but okay. And this is why I say Gemini Mars, because once you place Gemini in that planet of war and defense, a lot of these people, unless it's like negatively aspected or something, these people can be good fighters. Quite literally, they can beat your ass. So I mean, I fuck with it. But then something else I don't like I hate about Geminis. I don't. They can be really crafty, very crafty. So these are people who can have, like, due to that duplicit nature, have secret motives. It can come off as them having ulterior motives, being people who, like, depending on how it's placed or what planet it's placed in and how it's aspected in the chart, these could actually be scammers. They could be dead ass scammers. Yes, why everything poetic liberties have tempers. Yes, Gemini is a mutable sign, and you should always be leery of pissing off a mutable sign. Mutable signs are actually the most violent signs of the zodiac. So Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini, and Virgo. You might want to chill. You might want to relax. Now that's a Sagittarius that goes left just because everything went right. No, that's a Gemini. Aquarius too, actually. Sagittarius isn't necessarily the contrarian just for the sake of being the contrarian. Sagittarians we are the type of people we can be self-righteous. So if we come up with an answer or we agree upon, an idea or a thought form, we have to be in the moral, what's the word? We have to have the moral authority on the situation to school the children and the boys and girls of the world. It's not necessarily about having an opinion that is contrasting the public narrative. It's about feeling like endowed, like we almost feel like gifted and blessed with the truth. Now, if the truth just so happens to be what you believe in, then that's cute. But, we don't like to be wrong. And I think I'm a living example of that. Complex and competitive. Mm-hmm. Very complex. Very, very complex. Okay, so Cancer. Moving right along to the sign of Cancer. Cancer is a negative feminine sign, of course, governed by the moon. So I guess something that I love about Cancers, I love that Cancers are so emotionally in tune, in the sense that from a personality perspective, this can make a person very much of a nurturer, very warm, very gentle, very attentive, very accommodating. These are literally like motherly like qualities with that moon influence. Both men and women, can't men and women have this. Now I tend to find that water sign men or Cancer men in this case struggle with it a lot more than women do, just because from a societal perspective we embrace those qualities better in a woman than we do a guy, right? Most women would see a guy who's like a super compassionate, soft nurturer and be like, get the fuck out of here. Go home, Roger. Go home. but but I love that quality. I love it about Cancers. I love it. I also love Cancer's appreciation for food, very similar to Taurus, because I like food. Probably a little too much, but I'm with it. I'm with it. And Cancers don't get the credit that they deserve for being very, very creative and for being very just as passion driven as like an Aries. Once again, they're also a cardinal sign, so they make great leaders as well. These are people who are, like I said, they're very with their water influence. They have an incredible ability to shift energies and shift emotions, to shift the emotional vibration of whatever it is they come into contact with. On the negative side, they can be emotional, like manipulators. These could be people who like turn on the waterworks and cry when they get in trouble. I think if like I had to compare all of the races or the zodiac signs to a race, Cancers would be the white women of the zodiac. And because you know how like white women weaponize their tears kind of thing. Not all white women. So let me just state that before I get people in the comments talking about you being racist. Yeah. Not all white women. Okay, we're speaking to like the general collective stereotype, quote unquote. But Cancers can do that, and I don't like that shit. That emotional, like they can be like emotional terrorists, right? I don't fuck with that. Quit trying to make me feel a certain way that that I'm not feeling. I love Cancers. I love Cancers too. I do. Like I said, they're very creative. They're very much empaths. They can also be very loyal. And Cancers are some motherfuckers who will love you unconditionally. I love that. Now, on the negative side, that love, that unconditional love, can become a cage, and they can be very smothering, and they can be very, like I said, just OD, OD. Like worry warts. They can be bugaboos. These are people who need constant reassurance. These are people who, and even their tendency to take everything so personally is annoying. I could do without that. I could really do without that. Cancer is also one of the most racist signs of the zodiac as well, due to their love for familiarity. Um, I've seen this even in a man's chart produce a man who hates women, ironically enough, or somebody who's sexist, or like I said, just downright racist. So I mean, I could do without that. Obviously, I like cancers from a distance. From a distance, for sure, for sure. Now, moving on, Cancer guys also can be really soft and feminine. And that's what I'm saying, Casey. A lot of them are, but they don't. I feel like because they are very similar to Pisces men, these people tend to overcompensate. Like, these are men that overcompensate for that sense of like sensitivity. So, your Cancer man, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, of course, obviously, not all Cancer men, but like, these are the niggas who would be most likely to whoop your ass. Those water sign men, because they want to show you that they're a real man, right? Amir the Great says Mars and Cancer dudes are super emotional, and they can also be super abusive for that very reason, right? Think about what an abusive man is at his core. A man who literally cannot handle his emotions, right? You so mad at a female that you gotta beat her up. Hmm. Yeah, they try to act hard, and you can see right through that shit. Like, come here, little baby. Come here. That's why I can't take Kevin Hart seriously. Even 50 Cent, like, he's a Gemini moon. So, I mean, to a certain extent, a lot of his trolling behavior, it comes from that Gemini moon. But even still, he's so damaged. You can tell. He's so damaged. Like, his divine feminine is so fucking eroded and corroded and it's pathetic to look at. And I notice a lot of Cancer men, Cancer sun, moon men, either have very strong relationships with their mother, like these men are mama's boys, even to the point where that shit might even be a little bit unhealthy, or they had a relationship with the mother that was like that really like shaped the rest of their life. And Kevin Hart and 50 Cent actually are a great example of this, because Kevin Hart's mother died of cancer, and this nigga can't stop cheating on his wives, right? And then you have 50 Cent, whose mother died when he was a child. And I mean, look at him. Look at him. This nigga is miserable. All he does is troll people, disrespect women. He hates his own son. Like, who beefs with their own child in the public stratosphere? Like, people laugh and like he and ha ha, oh, he's so clever and witty. Like I said, that Gemini moon, like, he might say something that's funny here and there. But I'm like, yuck, yuck. I can see them leading cults for some reason. Now, they are the pimps of the zodiac for sure. The pimps of the zodiac for sure. They could be grade A womanizers. So I guess that's something that I don't like about Cancer men. Hey, Marilyn, welcome back. 50 is funny sometimes, but I'm glad you brought that up, Major DZ. Cancers are actually one of the most selfish and self-absorbed signs of the zodiac. So that is also something that I do hate about them. And that's partially why they take everything so personal too. Think about it. If you weren't always in a emotional state where you're fixed on yourself, how can you take everything to heart? Why do you think everything I say applies to you? Unless you're a self-absorbed bitch. How about that? Chana? Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button as you come on in the room. Else can be too. Leo's self-absorbedness or kind of like that narcissism that comes along with dark side of Leo's is more so of a like confidence booster. It's like, oh, look at me, because it has like an underlying, like a default underlining of like, I'm so great, or I can't admit that I'm not great. The Cancer sense of self-absorption is like, it could even borderline like what you call it, inadequacy complex or inferiority complex or whatever, y'all, however you say it. But yeah, it's more so from a standpoint of wanting validation and reassurance. Leo doesn't want validation or reassurance. It's just like, look at me, because of course I'm me and you're a peasant. So what the fuck else is there to discuss? Can be codependent. Yeah, and for that reason, they can be codependent. Sure. I'm a Cancer and don't deal with Cancers. I'm telling on y'all, Shayna. Mommy dearest, for sure. Of course, not all of y'all are like that. Not all of you guys. Not all of you guys. So moving on to Leo, of course, Leo is a positive masculine sign governed by the sun. And what do I love about Leo? I love their confidence. 9 times out of 10, right? Unless it's afflicted. Some Leos are trying to overcompensate. They have that overcompensation thing going on too, and it feels forced. But the Leos who are naturally comfortable in their kind of like our presence, right? Yeah, I get it. I'm fucking with the swag. A great example of this is Meg Thee Stallion. She's not a Leo sun, but she is a Leo moon, and you can kind of see that about her. And I love that they are so bold. Like, I love their charisma and how charming they can be, especially in a woman. These are women who are very like, know the right things to say, know the right things to do. I'm fucking with it. And they're also another fire sign. So they naturally come with this kind of like go big or go home type of demeanor. Okay? They're very passion driven as well. And so I love it. I love it. Leos are also some of the most loyal people of the zodiac, right? Leo governs the heart. So everything these people do comes from a heart. And I can appreciate that. I can. I can appreciate their it's almost like make it till you make it kind of mentality as well. Can I get calls into my live? I don't know how to do live calls. Yay. Can I invite you? Fiscally responsible, all about the coin. They can be very materialistic too. Love hard. Yeah, that's that loyalty. I'm a Leo rising. I think the best version of Leos is when it applies to the ascendant. I can see that. A lot of, not for nothing, I always say this. I mean, because Leo is the sign of the celebrity, you find that Leo influence in a lot of celebrity charts, right? Because they literally are celebrities. Even if you're not a global celebrity, could be popular. On a smaller scale, these people are naturally popular. They naturally attract attention everywhere they go, and I love it. I love it. What else do I love about Leos? I love that you guys are. I say you guys can be big risk takers. They can be gamblers for sure. Leo is the sign of the gambler, so I love that about y'all. And I love that sense of competitiveness that you guys have. I fuck with it because you need it. Now, what I don't like, what I hate about Leos I don't like the flip side of that competitiveness can give way to cattiness. So these are women, like dark-sided Leo women, of course, are women who compete with other women for the attention of a man. Like if you run into a dark-sided Leo woman, that's the bitch that'll switch up. Like I said, like when you with your friends or like y'all start hanging out with a group of niggas and she there in the corner like acting weird or trying to go out of her way to kind of like, steal your shine. I'm not fucking with it. I think I already gave y'all my horror story. I don't like that. Leo moons are the most toxic. They can be very toxic. Leo moon, everyone loves them. They can be big show offs. And that's another reason, or that's something else I don't really like about Leo. They can be just downright obnoxious, arrogant, narcissists, right? That's the key word that everybody kind of associates with Leo. Grade A narcissist. The men can be pimps. Probably, I mean, I would say because of that arrogance, that level of arrogance, right? And they could also be the Leo men could be very misogynistic, actually. Very misog. So I guess I could see that reflection in progression. I'm just giving you your own name. But yeah, they're very misogynistic, very barbaric. They're generous, but I'm talking about the shit I hate though. Like I said, and they can be snobs. They can be just as materialistic as a Taurus. It could be actually Leos could also be one of the bigger like racist or maybe prejudice is a better word. They can be very prejudiced against people. If you don't look like another example of this from my personal life, the friend that I had in college, I remember she would do little things like if you weren't, she would only be friends with pretty girls and girls who had, money or people who looked a certain way, people who act a certain way, people who dressed a certain way. I don't like that shit. I don't like it at all. Always got their uh-huh. Art having Mars and Leo is like being a Leo sun. As Leo rising men see the world like we're still in the Stone Age. I gotta be. They really no, seriously. You hit the nail on the head, Casey. Thank you, Najee or Najee. Turner, hit that like button, y'all. Button. But yeah, Leos could definitely be very materialistic. They can also be very like hyper aggressive. Hyper aggressive, especially the women. Like very mannish. Which I mean, I don't think I mind that too much, but a lot of people could be kind of put off by it. I wonder about your stepdaddy's age. What about his age? Spoiled, yep. Loud, overbearing. But yeah, they are a man with very prominent Leo energy is a great another good example of this is Nipsey Hussle. And of course, uh, I mean, how do I choose my words carefully? Actually, I'm not gonna choose my words carefully. I'm gonna just say it. I don't know. I didn't know that man personally, so I don't know if he was like a great person or not. But what I will say from a positive aspect, the Leo qualities that he exuded were like, the macho man thing, right? He was always big on defending black men and the image of a black man. And a lot of people did regard him as a leader. That's very much a positive Leo quality. If you don't pay attention to, yeah, for they're ready to blow. They love their attention whores. attention whores. So yeah, I can do without that. They can also be childish as well. But that's something else I don't know about Leos. Very childish, and they can be very jealous easily, and that goes back or ties back into them being very competitive individuals. Okay, so we arrived at Virgo, negative feminine sign, governed by Mercury. And Virgo is my favorite sign of the zodiac, so let me just start there, okay? I love that these people are, and I always say, I never met a stupid Virgo. These people tend to be very well educated, be it self formal education. These are people who are very, uh, just as inquisitive as a Gemini, but they actually have a bit more of like the range and the staying power to see things through, to study and expound on a certain thought, right? A Gemini will have a conversation with you, but a Virgo will pick up on something and like write a book about it, right? Or write a synopsis on it, or pick out one little detail and hone in on it until it's like elaborated on to its fullest extent. These are people who masterminds at assimilating, constructing ideas, compartmentalizing. These are very intelligent people. Very intelligent. Very intelligent. They have dictionaries in their head. Yes, it's a Virgo moon. I'm always constantly looking for the right words to use. A video, and sometimes I might even, I'm always looking for like what's the proper thing to say in this moment. Correct thing. Even if I am being like, casual or formal, it's almost like, because Virgo is the sign of thicket, like there's a way to do everything. Like if you're going to be casual, there's a certain way you need to be casual. If you're going to be formal, there's a certain way you need to be formal. These are the words you need to use. These are the, like, it's so weird, y'all. It is like having a dictionary in your head or like an instruction manual in your brain all the time. Photographic memory. A lot of them can have very photographic memories for sure. Aquarius or Virgo. I'm gonna say Virgo, but Aquariuses are, it's maybe, I think it's a different type of knowledge that they have, KC, because Virgos are intelligent from, like, I guess you could say, a more traditional standpoint. Um, but Aquarians are very intelligent from like a intuitive standpoint. They're one of the most intuitive signs of the zodiac. So you said you was handsome. I'm trying to see my Venus sign is up. Huh? What? Who handsome? What? What's going on? What? We y'all learn in the chat. Like, what's up? Virgos are so attentive and pay attention to the little things. They'll remember exactly. I say Virgo is smarter too, reflection and progression. Like I said, in a traditional sense. I have both Gemini and Virgo placements. They get anxiety, exactly. Now, and very similar to Gemini, with that Mercury influence, the downside of that Virgo energy is that it does tend to overthink, and you can have a lot of like mental restlessness, which can translate into issues with like your nerves, nervous system, anxiety, obviously, but even issues such as like OCD. I have really bad OCD. And I know everybody claims they have OCD, like, oh, it's funny. Like, somebody will wash their counter or do some basic ass shit. Like, oh, I washed my ass today. I'm OCD. Like, no, bitch. Like, OCD is literally a series. It's a disease to where your brain is hardwired to do things out of habit. And it's like a compulsive habit, or else you will suffer like catastrophic consequences. You could have a mental breakdown. So these are people, and I don't know if y'all remember My True Life, who they had the episodes of My True Life where they showed the people who had OCD, and some people have to do routines. And oddly enough, Virgo is the sign of routine. So some people have to, tap everything. Like, oh, I got to tap things twice. Or for some people, the OCD shows up in your thoughts. And that's more so what I deal with. It's like impulsive thoughts, reoccurring thoughts intrusive thoughts that come in your head, and then you ruminate on those thoughts over and over again, and it's like a habit. And it's, oh my God, Virgo, that Virgo energy, especially placing like the moon or maybe even Mercury, one of the most difficult placements for that energy. Have a motherfucker going crazy. Analytical for sure. Great negotiators at best, manipulative at worst. I can see how Virgos could be manipulative. Certainly. Reflection and progression says the women I like. I love Virgo men, y'all. Okay, so you got it. Your name is Mind Over Matter. That's so funny. Intrusive thoughts is a prison. Okay, I'm glad you understand me. Is there a heart in the house tonight? Stand up, stand up. Let me know. Let me know if you're feeling me. I'm glad I got one heart in the house. But Virgos can be charmers for sure. And so I love that. But let me get on because I got to drag Virgo just like I do everybody else. So I'm an equal opportunity dragger. I hate that Virgos are intellectual snobs. So these are people who feel like they know better than you just for the sake of it, right? They can even be unteachable. So some of the worst students to even have would probably even be a Virgo student. Like a Virgo student is like the show off. The kid in class who's like, Miss Susie, did we have homework last night? And everybody in the class is like, shut up, bitch. Miss Susie, you said we had to read pages 12 through 63 last night. What happened to that? What happened to that? But Virgo moon, I feel, is super critical, not as emotional like a water moon, more logical. For sure, absolutely. Virgo moons are very logical, but we can still run ourselves ragged if we don't learn how to fine tune and channel that Mercury energy properly. Who's a worse know-it-all? Virgo. See, see, see. I can't even answer that question. I'm gonna let y'all answer it because I'm a Sag Sun Virgo moon. So look, I would be biased either way. It's fucked up all across the board for me, Amira. Great. I'm gonna let y'all answer that question. Who do y'all think would be the worst know-it-all, the Virgo or the Sagittarius? My friend is a Virgo moon. I feel like she's always flatline when it comes to emotions. Yeah, because it's very similar to Gemini moons. There is a tendency to rationalize all of your feelings. But with Virgos, you really need to check on your Virgo moon. I mean, you need to check on all of your friends, but your Virgo moon friends especially, because they can really get caught up. Like if something short circuits for them from an emotional standpoint, it can really have detrimental like mental health effects. Big time. Big time. I'm a Virgo North Node. I always check a woman's bathroom. And all Virgos ain't clean. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. So the T. Virgo gets this reputation for being like, oh, the clean sign, right? The sign of cleanliness and blah, 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 right? Because Virgo, that sixth house energy, does deal with grooming. Like I said, it deals with etiquette. It deals with upkeep and maintenance, right? It deals with maintaining. However, it goes both ways. So when you see very in a birth chart, yes, if unafflicted, this possibly could be a person who is like crazy about health and crazy about keeping things clean. But on the contrary, depending on how it's affected or how that planet is impacted, these could be your people who lack any control over those areas of their life. So, for example, I've seen people who have their Saturn in Virgo who, like literally, quite literally, are a hot mess, or even like the Pluto Virgo generation. Them could be the messiest people you've ever seen in your life. Virgo just means they like order. So even if they are a mess in their minds, right? There's a method to their madness. They're doing everything from a sense of like it makes sense to me. It's my organized mess, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're all clean or even that they all care about health. Virgo rising seem very robotic. Probably their tendency to be very methodical. I could see how you would think that, Marilyn. See, the Virgo dudes you met were Slavs. Exactly. They can be. They can be dirty too. Like nasty, like from a hygiene standpoint. You have the Virgos who spend a lot of time thinking about those things, and then you have the ones who abandon those areas of their lives altogether. So there's a need for them to develop those things. Ew. Didn't cut their toenails. That's gross. Yeah, that's kind of nasty, dog. That's nasty. And they can be caring and nurturing, major DZ, but they do so very similar to Taurus in a very practical and methodical way. Virgo is the sign of the helper. So these are people like if you have a problem, and I can speak to this from a personal standpoint because I am this friend. If you have an issue going on in your life, right, and you want somebody to call so that they can cry with you, I'm not the friend. I'm not that girl. You need to go ahead and scroll past my number and call you up like a Cancer moon, a Pisces moon. Yeah, call a Pisces moon. Don't call me, okay? Because Virgos like to help you work through your problems. So these are friends when you call them, you're like, oh my God, my life is going. They're like, listen, okay, I'm sorry you're going through that, friend. Have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing that? Like your Virgo friend will help you come up with solutions. We are problem solvers. Problem solvers. Right? You're crying because your cat just got hit by a car. Okay, sis. Have you considered buying another cat? Do you need me to help you? Like I can pick you up right now. We can go to PetSmart and see what the tea is. I find Virgo women are clean in appearance, but messy, and Virgo men are clean when it comes to their living space. That's a very good observation, Philly Girl 30. That's a very interesting observation. And I actually can agree with that. I can agree to that. And they will pick apart every detail of whatever topic is at hand. Very much so. And these are other people or another group of people for that reason. You might not want to really get into like a verbal altercation with them unless you have your ducks in a row. Because whereas the Gemini is like the off cusp poster, like I said, the Gemini is the class clown. Gemini is like, oh, your mama's so fat, goddamn, whatever, right? Shut your ugly ass up. That's why you such and such and such and such. Yeah, your mama, like that's the Gemini. The Virgo is like, well, I noticed you wore those pants 3 times this week, which lets me know that you probably don't have a washer and dryer, which is probably the result of you coming from an impoverished home because your mother is a crackhead whore and sucks dick. Am I correct? You're like, oh goddamn! What happened? A Virgo will read you the rights, okay? And slice and dice your ass. And that's on period. Okay, unless you got nerves of steel, you gonna have to you need to really have all of your arguments in your ducks in a row before you bring it to the Virgo individual. Because once you brought it to the Virgo and it's smoke, now they're gonna deconstruct you. Now they're gonna pick you apart. Every little flaw that you have, which is really good when you're roasting, right? When you're trying to break a bitch down to her common denominator. Sometimes, like, you gotta simplify a bitch. You just gotta listen. We're just gonna start picking shit apart. And who better to do that than a Virgo? So you might wanna relax. Yeah, I know Virgos with mental disorders, a lot of anxiety. Yeah. Yep. So accurate. I'm a Gemini, but so true. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. So I've had arguments with my Virgo that I give up on arguments and just walk away. I'm telling you, Virgo moons, or I mean just in general, Virgo sun, moon, rising, Mercury, it can be they can be a handful. A handful. My biological father is actually a Virgo, and he is, if you have feelings that are easily hurt, don't come around him. You gain 5 pounds, he will let you know you gained 5 pounds. My jokes are lame and rude and insensitive. Well, they're also fun. I love talking about people's mamas, but I'm also a big ass kid too, so whatever. I guess they are insensitive, given that like if somebody's mama died and it's like, oh, my mama dead. Oh. But I mean, y'all ain't ever just said your mama to nobody before, ever. Like that shit, it just hit a little different. Man, how do you deal with people who think astrology tarot readings are of the devil? I thought we were past those times, but apparently people still think it's demonic, and I'm over the closed minds. I don't deal with them, Marilyn. I don't. Every now and then I might get a little satisfaction out of pointing out the fact that these are the same people who believe Adam and Eve were real people, and these are the same people who literally think a snake slithered up to Eve and was like, "Hey, bitch, eat the apple," and she was like, "Okay." Like y'all think that happened? Like y'all, according to your mind, the same mind that invalidates astrology, right? What you're telling me is you believe Noah got every two animal of every species known to man, insects included, completely disregarding the fact that different animals and wildlife flourish in different temperatures and habitats, right? You got all them niggas on one boat. Like, don't even get me started. Don't even, right? And Mary was a virgin, right? Right? Like, don't like you don't even want to go there. You don't even want to go there with me. Don't want to go there with me. So I don't deal with people like that. I just don't. Cause somebody finna be mad. And then that's where I double back and I say, your mama, your mama, your mama. Meg, how do you feel about Luciferian and satanic doctrine? Have you heard as do as I will? No. Um, no, I'm not familiar with that. Mind over matter. To be honest with you, I don't really believe in what like the devil or Lucifer as like modern like religion or Abrahamic religions like made the devil and God out to be like I don't believe in like those concepts of God and the devil, right? Good versus evil. I mean, I do believe that there are evil entities and that there are good entities and so on and so forth, like the yin yang thing. But I don't really believe in the way that it's been packaged for our consumption via like I said, those Abrahamic religions. I don't subscribe to them. But that's just me. Dark sided Virgos are a hot mess. Very much. Very much. A dark sided Virgo, let me see. Mama D. Actually, I'll do you guys one even better. Sky from the Black Ink crew. She's a dark-sided Virgo. Look at the bitch. Look at her. Girl, I don't force my thoughts on anyone, but don't tell me something is of the devil and you don't know anything about it. And that's what it really boils down to, Marilyn, is ignorance. People feel very comfortable um, asserting their opinions built off of ignorance. Like you don't, if you listen, sweetie, if you're curious and you wanted me to explain a little more, that's all you had to say. That's all you had to say. Don't just make assumptions and assertions, because now you look a little stupid. How do people reach you for personal readings? You can contact me at Astro World, Astro WERLD at gmail.com. I'll drop it in the chat. What about Beyonce? I think Beyonce exudes a lot of those stereotypical Virgo qualities. I love the idea of do as I will. I feel people don't really understand what it really means. Well, enlighten me. What does it mean? Who's next? Libra. Thank you for keeping me on track, Camelia. Because I sure was just finna let this whole situation just ride out. So, yes, bringing us right on along to the sign of Libra. Okay, Libra is a positive masculine sign governed by the planet Venus. And what I like about Libra is kind of the double back where our conversation began in the beginning of this, or at the start of this live, rather. I like that Leos are very diplomatic, right? Because Leo is the natural ruler of the seventh house. And the seventh house in birth chart essentially is the bridge that connects you, like your yourself, your identity, to the outside world. Therefore, from a personality perspective, these are people who have mastered the art of studying other people. Okay. These are people who, like I said, for that very reason, can be very accommodating. These are your moderators of the zodiac. These are the people, that's why they make excellent lawyers, excellent judges. They do excellent in the legal field, excellent counselors. These are people who are able to weigh out and see both sides of any given situation, very similar to Gemini. These are people who like they shine the brightest when they're dealing with other people. And to a certain extent, I like that because they can be very agreeable, and compromise for obvious reasons is needed in life, right? So and they kind of tend to meet people where they're at, right? Because they're all about balance. So they hate being in unbalanced environments. So, a Libra, and once again, with me being a Libra ascendant, this plays out in my life as, I do feel comfortable in whatever group I'm in, right? You could be in a group full of I don't know, hood rats, right? And your Libra sun, moon, or ascendant, perhaps even Venus, will know how to navigate that crowd, work that crowd. These are people who do an excellent job of making you feel like you know them to the point where, like, maybe you even let them in and tell them all of your business, which is why they can be just as nosy and just as messy, right, as Geminis. But they've mastered the art of only letting you know what they want you to know. But they do it in such a charming way. They can be very charming, very charismatic, like I said, very diplomatic. Um, on front, yeah, and politicians too, absolutely. Why you think a lot of politicians used to be lawyers or some shit? So they have mastered that. They've mastered that. And to a certain degree, like I said, a certain level of polish and refinement is needed, right? Somebody who is willing to just sit down and be like, hey guys, let's come up with the most like agreeable solution to this. I like it. I like it. I can fuck with it. Now, what I hate about Libras is that these people can become too accommodating, like I said, to where sometimes this can manifest in them being doormats. I also don't like that Leos. I don't like that Libras are so like the strategicness of it all kind of bothers me because these are people who can be very, like I said, sneaky, nosy, and they can also kind of have like hidden agendas. Which I mean, not for nothing, Libra is the sign of the open enemy. Okay, but the way that they cloak it and disguise it and dress it up, it'll be very sweet. Very sweet. For example, I have a former mother-in-law who is a Libra, and she is as pleasant as you. I mean, just as pleasant as the day is long. Very sweet, always quick to check up on you, always quick to offer a helping hand. She's nosy. You can tell she's nosy. I've heard her spilling other people's tea, very passive aggressive. And every time she's asking you questions, you can tell almost like being on the stand, right? Being interrogated, that Libra energy, right? Courtroom. They kind of feel like they're in the courtroom asking you questions. So when was the last time you did this? Oh, really? Okay. So how do you know that? Oh, you do? Okay, so what about this? What about that? Like, yeah, no, no. Like, I don't like that. It can be very sneaky, I guess you can say. And they can be big gossipers. And yes, Sierra Metzger, they can be very indecisive as well. But that doesn't really bother me. Every time I see an attractive man, I can't stop staring. They want to hold something. Libras do think they slick. And a lot of times they get away with it. They get away with it. These are people who they are expert deflectors, expert at deflection, experts. And their cardinal signs, and cardinal signs are excellent at, like I said, initiating and redirecting energy anyway. Okay, so when you place that in thought form, which is air, these motherfuckers are dangerous. These are the people who even if they're wrong about something, they might not take accountability. That's something else I don't like about Libra. Very similar to Pisces. They can be grade A, like I said, deflectors. These are people who can push the issue off on other people. Very much. Libra sun is a 20th degree in house, right? Ooh, oh wow. What's up, Adrian? Good cop vibes. Period. Libra Mercury will function in a very similar capacity. I'm just speaking to the archetype. So, I mean, this could be applicable to sun, moon, rising, Venus. Some cases, maybe even Mercury, depending on the condition of your Mercury. Yes, slick Pisces moon. The ultimate slicksters. The ultimate slicksters. I know two Libra men that talks about shouting on their wives. I know a Libra male who loves drama, gossiping. I see right through the friendly. And Libra. Oh, don't get me started on the Libra men. Very similar to Cancer men. They feel like they have women all figured out because Libra is also the sign of the opposite sex. So these are men who have mastered the art of learning what a woman wants inside and out, how a woman thinks, how a woman operates. So these men can kind of be overly confident in their abilities, like in that arena. Think about it from a celebrity level, like T.I., Jeezy, Lil Wayne. These are all men who are known. Granted, maybe you have to take that with a grain of salt because a lot of rappers are known for being womanizers. But my point is, these are men who are like, they have a very exceptional ability to connect to women. And that's that same thing with Cancer men. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying as hell. Can Libra Mercury's be liars? Libra Mercury placement individuals. Anybody can be a liar, but what I will say, Libra Mercury individuals are typically, I mean, if it's not afflicted, they typically tend to be people who like to do is right. Like, because you got to think about it, Libra is very big on justice and fairness and equality. So, I mean, these are people who are going to be honest because it's the right thing to do. And they'll be very quick to call out dishonesty or shady actions and character flaws in other people. Because they're all about, like I said, demanding justice, evening out the scales. And these people, for that reason, also make great activists as well. You know, fighting on the behalf or the rights of other people. So, my son is a Libra rising. He loves telling about the mess that took place at school. It's like the highlight of his day. Yeah, Libra risings are really good, and actually, they kind of have it tough. Even having Libra on the ascendant is a very tough placement because think about it, your rising sign is your personality. So to have the sign of other people like a personality trait, what's that? Like that's like these are people who have a very difficult time fitting in their environment because it's almost like you feel compelled, you feel forced to absorb everybody else's energies instead of emitting your own. When you're like your personality is literally contingent upon other people. That shit is draining. Libra risings are beautiful for no reason. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not to toot my own horn, but sorted, predictable. So yeah, that's the long and short of what I love and what I hate about Libra. So this brings us right on along to good old Scorpio, our favorite, everybody's favorite sign. I feel like Scorpio, in addition to Gemini, kind of gets a bad rep, just like unnecessarily. But nonetheless, Scorpio is a negative feminine sign, governed or co-ruled by both Mars and Pluto. And it deals with or it governs the eighth house, right? It's naturally the ruler of the eighth house of the zodiac, which deals with obviously transformation, yes, rebirth. It deals with secrets. It deals with things that are beyond your control. It deals with things that are powerful and dynamic and absorbent. And yeah, these people can play out those qualities on like a personality level. So a lot of Scorpios are very intense. I fuck with that. I like that, especially Scorpio ascendants. These are people when they walk in the room, you're like, ooh, what is it about you? What is it about you, boo? That there's something I can't really put my finger on. These are people that can come off, and a lot of it is due for the need for power and due to like a disdain for vulnerability, which I actually kind of understand, right? Scorpio is the king of the underground. So, even when it comes to their emotions and their mental state of being, these people like to play their cards close to their chest. Scorpios can be intense and mysterious. Absolutely. I love that Scorpios hate attention. Scorpios love to keep malice with hold a grudge. Absolutely. Very similar to Taurus. I meant to mention that with Taurus, but the two opposed signs have similarities though. I dated another Scorpio with my birthday. Sex was great, but we didn't get along. Oh my! Let me go refill my cup, y'all. I'm gonna get some more wine. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Those Scorpio men, if not mature, are insecure and jealous as fuck. Absolutely. So, it's a patterns. They can love bomb, you know. So exactly. Also with them being the kings and queens of the underground, these people hold a lot of intensity. Which I do like. I love them for their passion. And they are a water sign as well. They're fixed water. So that passion, that level of um and all water signs can be very consuming and absorbent, but definitely Scorpio, very much so. They're fixed water. So whatever it is that's going on beneath the surface, their emotional state of being, they kind of fixate and they ruminate on that, which is why they can also be very obsessive, right? Obsessive. These are also really big obsessive compulsive individuals as well. So I've even seen like where people have like afflicted Scorpio energy in their chart, where this could manifest as in them like attracting stalkers or some shit. You know, yeah, the obsession. And they can be very obsessive when it comes to people, places, and things. That's why Scorpios can either really love something or really hate it, right? They're obsessed with the idea of something, right? When they love somebody really hard, and it's like, oh my God, this is excellent. They have new food, a favorite food. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. But if something that, is something that they don't like, they hate it just as hard. Just as hard. I won't say a negative word about Scorpios just because I value my life. You like the obsessive nature. I like it because I'm gonna be honest, I'm addicted to like a little bit of like that toxic kind of I don't know, like in a relationship, like the makeup to break up, like the dynamic of like being angry, like angry sex and whatever, like the throes of passion. Like I just feel like it's so passionate. I love all things passionate and intense. So that's why I can appreciate a Scorpio. I agree with it. Intellectually arrogant. Um, I think Scorpios can be intuitively arrogant, actually. Yes, Jocelyn Hernandez. Jocelyn. Stevie. Good thing Virgos. We'd all be lost. Yeah. So that's what I like about Scorpio. I like that passion. I like that intensity. I like their mystery. A lot of Scorpio men, or dark side of Scorpio men anyway, can be bad boys. They're the bad boys of the zodiac, quote unquote. I like that shit. I like it a lot. So yeah, I like that. Now, on the other hand, I hate their vindictiveness. I hate their ability, like somebody else said in the chat, to hold grudges. I hate the fact that they can be some of the most like the meanest, spiteful, bloodthirsty people you've ever seen in your life, and will stoop to low lows, the lowest of lows, to either prove a point, to hurt you, to these are people who what's the saying? Where it's like, oh, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. They're like, bullshit. Vengeance is mine. Okay. And they are fixed in their ways, like all fixed signs are. They can also be very emotionally manipulative, D Clipper. They could be just downright manipulative in general, because with the Scorpio, it's all about keeping the upper hand. So a lot of these Scorpios, or people who have strong Scorpio placements, if they're not evolved, they could definitely be the type of people to engage in power plays, manipulation, underhanded tactics. Absolutely. Yep, I did do Virgo already. Truth teller. Truth teller. Teller. Mm-hmm. My friend is a Scorpio. I always say he hates everyone. It's pretty funny. Like Scorpios live off of that love-hate dynamic. Like I said, it's just all about intensity. So these are people, when you fall out with them, you fall out with them. Like, you have the Scorpio who's like, yeah, you're dead to me. And then you have the one who will go out of their way to do some fucked up shit to you and then say you're dead to me. Organized chaos. Come through one. Yes, I'm here with the red wine. I hope y'all sipping too. I don't like sipping alone. Scorpio or Pluto in the third are attracted to Scorpio people in a major way. They definitely have a very scorpionic way of expressing themselves and relating to others. Also, people who have Scorpio on the descendant, so Taurus descendants, especially. Stinky? Who's stinky? Are they really the best in bed? So here's the thing about that, Noah. Necessarily the sign that's the best in bed. I think they get that reputation because Scorpio quite literally does govern sex, and it deals with the genitals, okay, and it also deals with the orgasm. However, these people are rooted in experiences that are very intense, and I think I said this in my Mars video, my Mars live stream. But basically, these are people who sex can be used in a very powerful way. Sex can be a lot more meaningful to a Scorpio, right? These are people who they can even associate sex with like power and control and so on and so forth. And these are also people who can really enjoy and love the type of what do you call it? What are those things that go off in your brain when something is feeling good? Y'all know what I'm talking about. But they can get high off of those things. And then some people, I guess for some people that could translate into them being like, okay, well, if you really like having sex and sex is that important to you, then wouldn't you naturally be good at it? I guess, kind of, maybe. But for me, I'm not that astrologer that would say Scorpio is just the best at sex. I would just say Scorpio, sex is the most important to Scorpios. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. It's the most important to Scorpios because a lot of Scorpios use sex as a tool. It can be a tool for bonding, or like I said, control. For a lot of Scorpios, it helps bring them closer together to their partners in a very emotional way. Intertwining their souls with people energetically. A lot of dark side of Scorpios can also be sex vampires. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that, but like, yeah, sex vampires are a thing. People who drain, like parasites. That's dark side of Scorpio. They can drain you through sex, and you get weaker, and they get stronger. So. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh yeah, maybe because of sexual energy too. Yeah. Nah, yeah, Hayden. Look, everybody getting drugged tonight. I need one. Yeah. I mean, the intensity and the passion of it. Like, and when they do something, they put their all into it. So maybe that could also be a factor as to, some people feeling like, oh, Scorpios are the best at sex. They're very passionate. If I'm gonna fuck you, I'm gonna put my all into fucking you. But technically, there are other signs that can be just as good, if not better, in the bedroom than a Scorpio. Endorphins, that's what it is. Thank you, Camellia. Endorphins, the endorphins in your brain. You had some stalkers, the quiet Scorpio. Yeah, that's what I don't like about Scorpios. A great example of what I hate about a Scorpio could be Embody and Lil Boosie. I love his music, but as a person, he says some of the most hateful shit. Like he can be such a hateful person. I heard one of a recording, an audio recording that he left a voicemail for one of his children's mother, cussing out the mother, talking about that's why he killed her brother. That's why her brother is stinking underground. Calling her all kinds of bitches, like screaming at their daughter, like and I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but Scorpios, because Scorpio rules death, it rules, shit, it rules, like literally shit, like excrement, it rules bacteria. Scorpio governs things that are low down and dirty and what most people would consider to be nasty. These people have some of the filthiest mouths. Similar to Aquarius, Aquarius can have people can have potty mouths as well. But Scorpios can get real down and nasty, and even the stuff they describe. Like Scorpios are like a lot of the Scorpios I've encountered like talking about shit. They like talking about ass, or like I said, they'll talk about that's why you look like such and such, and you got maggot, you a maggot, still this and that and the third. And I'm a least thing. I'm like, oh my god, okay, bitch, damn, we get it. We get it. Okay. Yeah, and they are controlling too, Brittany. It's a power thing. Their love for power. Same thing with the possessiveness. Very similar to Taurus. They feel like they own people and they can be very, very jealous. Very, very jealous. Very jealous. He's gonna be, he does too much for. The only thing I like he said when he's like, oh, come on, man. Oh, come on, man. That's the only thing I like about Boosie. So I'm on fire tonight, Major. I'm on fire. He started talking about the dog. I'm done. Right. Right. That's what so you get what I'm saying? Like their minds and their mouths can be so lowbrow and like damn, so we just killing dogs? Like, what does that have to do with anything? I hate that about Scorpios. That's unnecessary. It's like very unnecessary, actually. Right, David, what's up with Boosie? Hold on, I gotta pin this guy. I gotta pin this guy. What's up with Boosie mouth on the corner? I just wanted y'all to read that. Oh, I don't know what's up with the corners of his mouth, y'all. Wait, having diabetes make your mouth white in the corners like that? I'm like, this motherfucker got on $100,000 chain across his neck with the your lips. They light. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. Us Scorpios doing something right. If we got haters, see, they be white as hell. Yes. I'm like, I'm not trusting it. Put your pussy lips on flies. I give you $1,000. That's a perfect example of that Scorpio shit, right? Talking about dick and pussy and this and that. And put your pussy lips on live. Like, all right, Boosie. Look like he was drilling in his sleep. Exactly. I love Scorpio women. It's a sexy. Scorpio women do have a very sexy look. Like they exude sex, and even if they're like quote unquote well dressed, they're like they exude like this sexual aura about them. People with Scorpio on the ascendant as well. He went straight to cutting stuff off while talking about D-Wade. Exactly. Nobody said anything about exactly, Amira, which further reinforces my point. I feel like Boosie is gay as fuck on the low because he's too preoccupied with all things involving gay people. Who the fuck appointed Boosie as the spokesman of like the anti-counter LGBTQ movement? And not for nothing, Scorpio deals with the anus. So you tell me what little Boosie got going on. Boosie brushes his teeth and leaves his tongue behind. I don't like that. Like Toya Wright. Yeah. Toya Wright is a great example of that. Because like she dresses kind of modestly, but she has this look to her where it's like she's sexy as fuck. He was just giving his opinion like we all do. Well, his opinion comes with his celebrity. So as a celebrity, when you give your opinion, I'm gonna go back and do my homework. And when I see that your opinion doesn't add up with the other shit that you said before in the past, now I'm looking at you crazy, bruh. I'm looking at you crazy. Cause he went on and on talking about the kids and how D-Wade shouldn't do this to his kids. Don't cut the boy dick off, Mike. Come on, man. Don't cut it off. But ain't you the same nigga who wanted to get your 14-year-old son's dick sucked or wanted him to fuck a grown-ass woman for his birthday? You were literally offering to rape your son. Like you are disgusting. You are disgusting. Don't talk to me no more about, the well-being or the welfare of children. And that was my thing. Like, nigga, how dare you? But whatever, I digress. Hmm. All right, so moving right along to Sagittarius. Sag game. What I love about Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is a positive masculine sign governed by Jupiter. And Sagittarius, because they're governed by Jupiter, a lot of Sagittarians are very like we embody those qualities of Jupiter, right? We are loud, a lot of us, over the top. Um, some of us can be very like, in your face. A lot of Sagittarians can be show offs. Sagittarians are the pranksters, the jokesters of the zodiac as well, very similar to Gemini, which gives them a lot of charm, a lot of humor. Like I said, constant, like put a Gemini and a Sagittarius in a room where we busting jokes, like it's we getting off jokes all day. Our reckless mouth is off the chain, yeah, and that's because Sagittarians are honest to a fault. A lot of times we put down I said our foot. See, perfect example, our feet. We put our feet in our mouth. We speak first and then we think later. That's a perfect example. Someone once said the Sag are dumb, Geminis, and I've never been the same. Hey, might be. Might be. I don't think Sagittarians are dumb. Sagittarians are wise. Like it's a different set of wisdom. So or it's a different set of like knowledge. So Gemini, think about what Gemini represents in the birth chart. Gemini governs the third house, which deals with grades K through 12. So it's like that fundamental type of knowledge, which is like, oh, reading, writing, arithmetic. But when you Aries take that ninth house, right? Because the ninth house is directly opposed to the third house. We're talking about like college, upper level learn. So actually, technically, whoever said that might need to go back and rework some things in their mind because Sagittarians are a lot more sophisticated than Geminis because a lot of Sagittarians understand the big picture of things, right? Sagittarius deals with college. It deals with graduate studies. It deals with theory. Think about what you do in college, right? You're writing dissertations. You're taking all of the education that you've learned from grade 12, and you putting the bow on that shit, bro. You tying that shit up. You elaborating. You're connecting dots. you're becoming more abstract with your knowledge and your wisdom. So whoever said that actually can eat a dick. now, now that I'm thinking about it, like Sagittarians are dumb Geminis. Actually, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. Um. So yeah, Sagittarians are, yes, their knowledge coming from their experience, right? Experiences. Very, yes, absolutely. Which is why Sagittarians are naturally very expansive, very adventurous, people pleasers. I don't know about that, Major DZ. Sag is very image conscious. They want to have control over perception. Um, hmm. Sagittarius moons are very smart. Sagittarius moons are they are very dynamic. They have very dynamic personality. Sagittarius men are something else. Sag are wise. As a Gemini, I'm salty about it. But like I said, it's just two different levels of like. I mean, neither is better than the other, but they actually work hand in hand. They work hand in hand. Gemini is kind of like here, there, and everywhere, and Sagittarius is like big picture. And one of the downfalls about being a more big picture abstract thinker is that you miss details. So somebody like a Virgo, right, which is the other side of that Mercury energy, whereas a Virgo would catch certain shit, Sagittarians are just like, yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I ain't got time to read all the details and blah, 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 blah. Yes, they're governed by Jupiter. They are expansive people. So these are people, they tend to be very worldly, very well traveled, very cultured, very diverse people. They're attracted to exotic experiences, people, places, and things. And they're constantly looking to assign meaning to the world. Constantly. Constantly. Sag doesn't care about exactly them. Don't talk to no Sagittarius about no details. They don't give a fuck. I ain't do Aries. Wait, did I do Aries? Did I do? I started with Aries. I'm lying, baby girl. That Aries was the first, the very first. Uh-huh. And Sagittarians can be just as impulsive as Aries as well, which can make them very accident prone. Oh my God, Sagittarians are some of the clumsiest. I'm the clumsiest bitch you will ever meet in your life. I've always made the joke that like I will fall on my wedding day. I will be that person walking down the aisle, trip up, whoa, and then next thing you know, I'm on the ground at the wedding. Your best friend is Sagittarius and optimistic, very much optimistic, absolutely. The philosophers of the zodiac, right? The Jupiter influence, like I said, they're always looking to assign meaning. That's why I made your seekers. Stellars are they can be very influential. Now, and like I said, I'm an equal opportunity dragger. So, I mean, now that we got the good shit out the way, what I hate about Sagittarius is that Sagittarius tends to be very self righteous. Very self righteous. And Sagittarius is wise, but Sagittarius is also just obnoxious and fucking like damn bitch, like it can come off as like they can come off as know-it-alls, very similar to Virgo. Like, so you think you just got the answer for everything, huh? You just know everything, like so shut the fuck up. It's hard, it's very hard for us to admit when we're wrong, absolutely. And we can be hypocrites. Sagittarians are very much do as I say, don't do what I do, don't watch me, watch TV, okay? I can tell you the right thing to do, bitch, but like don't like what we're not gonna do. Don't do what I do. Do what I say. Uh-huh. Possessive. I will say arrogant. Sagittarians can be arrogant. Yes, with my Sagittarius, I have to see Marilyn. Like you feel me? You feel me? We be like, yeah, about that. Yeah, we don't think before we speak. We just be saying shit. And y'all don't know how much trouble I've gotten into from a child to now because I just said the first thing that came to my mind. Like, very preachy, yeah. And that comes with the know-it-all thing too. Sagittarians can be very, it's a lot to take in. It's like, you know, for some people they like, and this is where Gemini has the advantage. Gemini is very casual. Gemini is a sign that is very like matter of fact. So you could be having a conversation with a Gemini and they'll just throw certain things out there. Like, oh, look, you know, a lot of Geminis are very, you know, they could be just as like I said, educated, very educated people in the know, and they might just throw certain little tidbits of information out there. Your Sagittarius has to get on their high horse, right? And take the moment to like really like go to town. This is why Sagittarius is they're the preachers of the zodiac, right? Because I gotta get a testimony. I gotta let you know what I'm saying. Can I get a witness? Let me tell you about something. Let me tell you what's the right thing to do and what's not. Let me tell you the wrong thing to do. Let me tell you the right thing to do. And for a lot of people, that's very off-putting. And it's like, bitch, who the fuck are you? I did not sign up for this. I'm just trying to eat my mac and cheese. You know, like we're at the film reunion. I'm just trying to chill. Like, why are you lecturing me? Why are you being so preachy right now? Who asked for this? Empathy, likely codependent. I will say Sagittarians can be. I don't really know about empathy. I don't know about empathy. It's the exact opposite. Sagittarians, another negative quality of Sagittarius is that um they could be the type of people who actually what do you call it? Are very insensitive. Sagittarians can be very insensitive. Very, very, very insensitive. Like fuck your feelings. And that's a part of our bluntness, right? Us not and Aries actually can be very blunt as well. But the difference between the Aries blunt and the Sagittarian blunt is Aries are very impulsive, and a lot of times these are people who actually, like I said, it's almost like they can't control themselves. They can't help themselves, like you know, and they're very impatient. So they're like, okay, just fuck it. I'm just gonna say it because I don't have the time to try to formulate the proper way to do shit or what's the proper way for me to say my wife looks fat in this dress, right? And Aries man is not going to sit up and think of all of the ways to go about it. And look, bitch, you had a donut too many, okay? Maybe you do look fat. But the Sagittarius man isn't necessarily like, yeah, we do have a tendency to put our feet in our mouths, but at the same time, like we're all about truth. Like Sagittarius and Jupiter influence, we're the sign of truth. So we feel like we're doing people a disservice, you know, if we don't come out and just say what the truth is. Nobody is going to take our truth away from us. So let me tell you the truth. And the truth is, sugar, you look fat in that dress. You look fat. You look fat. Like that's just what it is. Sorry. Why does Sagittarius have a soft spot for Pisces? Well, I mean, they both share the same co-ruling planet of Jupiter, so they actually have a lot in common to a certain extent. Yeah, Scorpio women are typically sensual and exotic. Uh-huh. So yeah, I'm trying to see what else do I hate about Sagittarius. Did I cover it all? Preachy, insensitive. Oh, we're not good at taking accountability either. And I'm gonna just be 100% honest. You said your mom is a negative Nancy, Camellia. Well, Sagittarians are literally the optimists of the zodiac, so she might have something else going on. But yeah, absolutely. We don't do good at taking accountability. And a great example of this, you can look at celebrities such as Nicki Minaj. These bitches got excuses for every day of the week. You know, they can never fully take accountability for whatever is going on around them. Never. Yeah, do things without thinking. Uh-huh. And yeah, and Sagittarius is another mutable sign. Now, Sagittarius, all the Sag men I know will give you truth mixed with a lie. Now, this is where it kind of toes the line, because Sagittarians do have a knack for exaggerating too. Because you got to think about that Jupiter influence. Jupiter makes things bigger, grander, right? More like dramatic in a sense. So, although Sagittarians are the type of people to just come out and lie, I mean, we can like go OD. We're like, you know how like you'll have that friend, y'all go somewhere, have an experience, and then the next day y'all telling the rest of your other friends about it, and then the way your friend telling the story, you looking at them like, when I don't like they're not lying, but like you add a little razzle dazzle on top of the dazzle, like what the fuck is going on here? Like that's Sagittarius. That's Sagittarius. Like that's definitely Sagittarius. Possessive, jealous, and envious. I don't think so. If you are, that could be attributed to some of your other placements. Is that why some can be compulsive liars? It's got to be coming from somewhere else. Expansion helps Sagittarius. Well, yeah, typically a lot of Sagittarians can be, you know, what do you call it? Bountiful. Y'all can dish it, but there you go, Shayna. There you go. Sagittarians can dish all the shit in the world, talk all the shit in the world, but we're not really good at being on the receiving end of that. Not at all. Which is the reason why I can't date Sagittarian men, rather, because we've been and killed each other. And we're some hoes. We're the hoes of the zodiac. And that's just being honest. Sags are very passive. My mom is one also. Sagittarians are I don't know if I would describe Sagittarius as passive. I don't know. They are very flirty. Yes, Sagittarius is very, very, very flirty. Flirty, 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 flirty. Here, there, and everywhere. Sagittarius can also be irresponsible, and that's something that I don't like. Very irresponsible. I can date Sag men, they would cheat with someone who looks completely different, including exactly. Because Sagittarius likes that variety. So these are people who can have very eclectic taste. Especially like if a man has his Mars in Sagittarius, you can just forget about it. These niggas will fuck anything with a pulse. Mean, nasty, and heartless. Damn, Major DC. What the fuck? Schemers. See now. You trolling. Like you like what's going on? Sagittarius men do have great combo. They do. They do. That's how they get you, Marilyn. That's how they get you. They talk all this abstract philosophical bullshit, right? And charm you right up in the bed. They're excellent charmers. And then, next thing you know, you looking for your panties, you gotta fetch them off the ceiling fan. Don't get me started. Yes. They go with the flow, but can be violent, like other mutable signs. And that's another thing too. Think shit is sweet with a Sagittarius. And that's the reason why they cling to that optimism. We cling to that optimism so we don't go to jail. Right, a Sagittarius that frozen. Exactly. Exactly. All right, so let's move it on along. Yeah, let's move it. Oh, Sagittarius can be very what do you call it? Gluttonous. So they can be very gluttonous, just like Tauruses. They can just overdo things, right? The Jupiter influence. where you're doing too much, excess, which is why, depending, like Sagittarius moons do have the tendency to gain weight and be kind of get bigger as they get older. Same thing for Sagittarius ascendants. I mean, even suns, depending on how it's aspected, have not wide bottom teeth like a horse. See, now y'all roasted at this point. So I'm trying to see like what's happening. Y'all got all the jokes. So yeah, I don't care for Sagittarians in that regard. I can do without that. And funny enough, I only have one Sagittarius that I really love. And she's my close friend. Her name is Queen Lovely. She has her own. She has her own tarot channel, and I kind of play it from time to time. So shout out to Queen Lovely. I don't know if she in the chat. She just texted me, but she's the only Sagittarius woman I can deal with. I can't do other Sagittarians. I don't really do it. So, moving right along to Capricorn. Nah. So Capricorns are another sign where I kind of do feel like maybe they do get kind of a bad rep. I think everything associated with Capricorn has to be doom and gloom. A lot of people like to describe Capricorns as like wet blankets. I don't think that necessarily has to be true. Capricorn is a negative feminine sign governed by Saturn, and these people, starting with the positive, I feel like Capricorns are really great at providing structure to situations, very similar to a lot of earth signs. These people are very, like I said, grounded, practical, and reliable to a certain extent. They're also very hardworking, very ambitious people naturally because they are driven, very similar to Taurus, by external validation. It could be material things because you do have materialistic Capricorns, but even the ones who aren't really materialistic are just naturally programmed to like work hard. These are people who feel like they have to earn their keep, and they describe us as that. Well, Saturn in tarot is represented by the devil, so you know there's that, and they are good at reaching their goals. Yes, Pisces moon. So we're talking about very driven and committed people. So I like that. Now on the negative side, this will just produce a person who will stop at nothing to get what they want, which for obvious reasons can be like not good, right? If you're just willing to do anything. And they can also be very unyielding and relentless and brutal, very similar to a dark-sided Taurus, which also for obvious reasons is not. I mean, that's not okay. Let's see, what else do I like about Capricorn? I like that you guys are very. I'm gonna be real. It's not much that I like about Capricorn. I mean, and that's just for me personally. Objectively, they do have a lot of admirable qualities or qualities that other people would find admirable, I guess. So like I said, being very big on like reputation and respect. Capricorns will command respect. I will say that. These are people who are very big on respectable politics. Capricorns, they can be know-it-alls. I can see that. Capricorns can also be grade A snitches as well. Because they have this thing where they have to like appeal to authority at all times. So, like I said, when I was talking about the toxic qualities of your moon sign or like your mother, based on your moon sign, I was talking about the Capricorn moon mom being the type to like call the cops on her kids. Yeah. Yeah. Dark sided Capricorn can be like snitches. They can also, like I said, just be miserable. They can be gluttons for punishment. They can be very pessimistic. They can be very mean. Capricorn as hell, actually. Mean as fuck. Capricorn does represent the government, Ryan. And they are very controlling. That's something else I hate about Capricorn. I tell you what to do and why you doing this and that. Because Capricorn, it loves authority, but it actually prefers to be at the top. You see what I'm saying? It prefers to be at the top of the food chain. So I mean, on one hand, these people do make excellent, like I guess you could say bosses and shit. Although they may get carried away with their with power, right? Being power. Your dad's a dark sided Capricorn. Ooh. Capricorn men are boring too. In my opinion, my experience, I find that Capricorn men can be boring as hell. I find myself saying, "Can you not or stop embarrassing me?" Yeah, no, seriously. Capricorns do not like Capricorns are all about, like I said, respectability. Capricorns do not like making a scene, which is very interesting because Sagittarius is all about making a scene. And I remember like a few years ago, this might have been like 2 years ago now. I had a boyfriend who was a Capricorn, and like he hate that was one of his big things to me. He used to always put me to the side and be like, Megan, whatever you do, I don't care what we got going on. But when we go around whoopty whoop and whoopty whoop, could you like get some sense? Like I need you to relax. And I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna chill. And then we get in public, and I'd be like, fuck you, like da, 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 da. And he would that shit would just send him through the roof. Like, why are you embarrassing me? They can't hold grudges. Yeah. They care exactly, Ryan. Don't embarrass them. That's the worst thing you can do to a Capricorn, or try and smear their credibility or something like that. And it's funny because my mom is a Capricorn, and she's always, since I was a child, she's always said the only thing you have in this world is your reputation. And I'm like, oh, like I mean, I don't give a you to me. I'm like, why do you give a fuck what people think about you? But I don't know much about Capricorns. What are some Capricorn moon traits? Very similar to these traits, Marilyn. Like I said, they can be very much their reputation, respect. A lot of Capricorn moon people have very like a dry sense of humor as well. Very dry, but they can be very witty though at the same time. Like, like that snarky kind of like, quick wit kind of humor. They can also be very, like I said, hardworking, very disciplined. These are very, very disciplined people. So even as it pertains to like, I mean, if you're talking about like a Capricorn moon, these are people who can lose weight really well. Because they're good at like restricting themselves and whatnot. These are people who typically thrive. And I'm not gonna say isolation, but they are alone a lot of the time. You call the cops on your neighbor's Pisces. Why did you do that, girl? What did they do? Like, why? Oh, Pisces one said, yes, I called the cops on my neighbors. Act like children later on in life. Don't laugh before you tell the joke. Priceless. Yes, I thrive off on fasting. Teach me your ways, Brittany, because that's what I need. So yeah, that's what I don't like about Capricorn. Now, Aquarians are I think Aquarians are for the most part. I think I could say they're one of my favorite signs of the zodiac. Aquarius is a positive masculine sign governed, or rather, should I say, co-ruled by both Saturn and Uranus. Um, and these people are all about revolution, uniqueness. There is a need for these people to live life on their own terms in accordance to their own will. If you checked out my Saturn in Aquarius, yes, my Saturn in Aquarius live, a lot of these people, a lot of Aquarians embody those characteristics on an individual level, meaning these people, these are literally the rebels of the zodiac. These are people who, I mean, a lot of times they can be very bold, very eccentric, very quirky, sometimes downright weird. People who are committed to doing things the way they want to do them. And it's very interesting because you have the rigidness of Saturn. So, there's that influence, and that makes these people very stubborn in their own right. Not to mention they are fixed air. Then you also have like that revolutionary influence of Uranus. So it's almost like these people are learning how to balance two, the old with the new, the rigid with the flexible. Yes. Well, I think Aquarius definitely is can be a very cold, ice cold and detached sign. You don't get along with Aquarius. They are trendsetters, so that's what I do love about them. They're very innovative. I mean, Aquarius is the sign of like literally like the inventor, the genius. These are people who, I mean, their brains function on a level that's out of this world, really. So some of these people can be autistic, or depending on like where you have Aquarius placed in the chart. Like I said, I've seen a lot of people who had afflictions to their Mercury in Aquarius, and they end up being autistic or something. Um, and you know how like some autistic kids are like, even though they may not have common sense about certain things, they still possess this ability, like this amazing talent or something. They're gifted and they're able to do something, be it like play the piano, draw, or maybe they're mathematicians or something like that. But that emotion might be coming too, melanin rich. Aquarius is also the sign of manifestation too. So these people can literally manifest whatever they want right at their fingertips. They're lucky. My dad's Aquarius, grew up in the same house, so I don't know 3 facts about it. They can be very distant for sure, especially the men. How Leos and Aquarius sister signs, yet they almost always don't get along. Are Sagittarians and Aquarians compatible? They are actually. That Sagittarius and Aquarius does well together because Sagittarius likes to keep things very light. Um, and I guess I should have included this in something that I like about Sagittarius, but Sagittarians are not typically the type of people of the zodiac, like because they're the hippies and the hipsters of the zodiac and the groupies of the zodiac. Think about like, like a groupie on a tour bus. They hop from one situation to the next in life, looking for adventure, looking for fun and new experiences. Aquarius likes to keep things very light as well and very superficial to a certain extent as far as like feelings, right? Aquarius is definitely an intellectual sign, so they can vibe off of like communication and exchanging ideas, which is also agreeable with Sagittarius, but they both share that ability to kind of just keep things surface level and just go with the flow. You know what I mean? Keep things super casual, super light, super friendly, super fun. I think that's where Aquarius and Sagittarius as well together. I also feel like because Aquarius is very willful and outspoken, like I said, these are the rebels. These are people who are like, fuck tradition, fuck the way things that, the things were. I'm going to say things for how I feel they should be or for what they look like to me. Sagittarians, when they get on their soapbox, they're all about speaking their truth and all that good stuff too. So I feel like in a lot of ways, Sagittarius and Aquarius are very compatible. Very compatible. Yeah, see, I love Aquarians. I do. I love Aquarians. I love I live for a good old weird ass Aquarius. Too cold, yeah, and they can be obsessed with it. Aquarians could also be bullies. Okay, they're the bullies of the zodiac. It can also be something else I hate about Aquarius is that, like I said, they're like robots. They can be very robotic. They can be very detached from the human experience, which isn't good. Air fire signs have the best chemistry. Yep. Sometimes they can get carried away because you think about what happens when you fan the flames on a fire. You have a fucking whole forest fire on that ass. So sometimes we need a little water. Mm-hmm. They are, yeah, Aquarians are bullies. They can be. The dark side of Aquarius, absolutely, for sure. So, you know, I don't like that about them. And Aquarians, Aquarius is the sign of the pervert. So for obvious reasons, you know, I, I can do without that. Yes, it's real floating. And Aquarians, aside from Gemini, are the other contrarians of the zodiac. So these are absolutely the people who, once again, if you said the sky was blue, these are the motherfuckers who are like, actually, no, the sky is gray. It's gray today. If everybody said okay, y'all, we're gonna go left. They're gonna be like, let's go right. Why? Because I just want to go right. Okay, well, fuck you. How about that? And they are, and Aquarians can be humanitarians. They can. Aquarians are the type of people who are loyal to causes and not people. Like on an abstract level, they can lend their humanitarianism to like movements and shit and abstract ideas. But like on an individual level, they don't fuck with people like that. Hey, Britt P. And then finally, they try to tell you how to live your life, and they're big hypocrites. And then finally, we are brought along to the last sign of the zodiac, right? Which is Pisces. So Pisces is a feminine negative sign, co-ruled by both Jupiter and Neptune. Um, what do I like about Pisces? I like that Pisces it's the sign of compassion. And that's that Neptune influence. So unlike Aries, which is all about self-preservation, even Cancer to a certain extent, Pisces lack that. And on the positive end, this could be a person who is selfless. This makes for a selfless person. These are people who will literally give you the shirt off of their back. These are people who like Pisces are good for they're a sucker for a good sob story. You catch a Pisces and be like, I lost my house. My house burned down. My baby daddy, he hit me, and I got 12 kids, and I don't have nowhere to go. And the Pisces will dig in their pockets and give you everything they have. They're selfless, so like just compassionate and caring people. And I love that about them. I do. I do. Um, yeah, Amira the Great, intuitive and empathetic as hell. They are grade A, and they are the ultimate empaths in the zodiac. And a lot of astrologers actually equate Pisces to like the sign of Jesus, like based off of like how Jesus was portrayed in a lot of texts, biblical texts. It's like all of the acts that you think about it. Jesus allegedly die on the cross to save people from their sins, right? That martyrdom, that self-sacrifice, that's very much Pisces. So these people embody that. But it can be to a fault. It can be to a fault, which is what I hate about them as well. So they are also one of those signs. The things I love about them are the things I hate. Yeah, they're very Pisces don't have boundaries. So these are the same people who will like put themselves in situations to where they're victimized and taken advantage of. Sometimes they can be subconsciously addicted to playing that role. So a lot of times, like, yeah, NYC, crybabies. Woe is me. You could be a lot of Pisces are their own worst enemy. A great example of this is Tamar Braxton. That bitch can't take no accountability for shit. So some of that is that Jupiter influence as well, which is that's why I say Sagittarians have a bad time with it. But Sagittarians just don't accept, like, we don't do well with accepting our faults because we don't like being wrong. I feel like Pisces has a difficult time accepting accountability because they want to be, like I said, the victim. Like they don't want to be the villain in anybody's story. In their mind, everybody that comes along plays into this narrative of woe is me. I'm feeling sorry for myself. Self-victimization. And it's like, all right, bitch. I think Tamar got an Aquarius moon in NYC. Aries, I mean, I think Aries just has a one-track mind because Aries can be like that as well. But Aries is more so like, okay, what is my way or the highway, right? It's like, this is my idea. This is like how I feel about something. Fuck you. But Pisces is like, well, I mean, I couldn't have done that. Like, how was I the bad guy when you're the bad guy? Because you're always see, that's my point. Everybody's always saying that I'm doing this, and everybody's always saying that I'm doing that. It's just the story of my life. Like people are always saying this about me, and I didn't even do anything. I never do anything, and it's like I'm wrong. Oh, I'm wrong, right? I'm always wrong. Okay, fine. I'm always wrong. Are you happy? Like that's Pisces, and it's like, all right, okay, like shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. Jupiter Pisces in the 10th house. Yeah, and that can also make for a person who's very gullible as well. That placement. Oh, really? Michael Jordan has Jupiter Pisces 10th house. Impressive. Perhaps the Pisces energy could deal with the fame, especially placed in the 10th house. But yeah, Pisces moons, Pisces in general are crybabies. So I can do without that. That's pretty annoying. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Brittany. Also very misleading. Uh-huh. Yeah, about that. Pisces are very secretive. That's something else I don't care for them about. Like I don't care about that quality. Um, and like to Brittany's point, to Brittany's credit, they can be very misleading. They can keep a lot of secrets. They can be very like these are people who you have to pull information out of. I don't like that shit. But on the positive side, mind over matter, they are very creative. And actually, I would say one of the most creative signs of the zodiac, also one of the most intuitive signs of the zodiac. So, and they tend to be very spiritually gifted. So, I mean, I ain't gonna take that. I'm not gonna take that from y'all. They don't know that they're sensitive as hell, though. Yeah, exactly. He needs to learn some boundaries. I'm glad that you're going to teach him that. How do you get Pisces to be interested? Um, Pisces men are attracted to perfection. I mean, I guess, because nobody's perfect. It's like, okay. I would say like wear lots of makeup. Like Pisces men are into women who like are glam, like va va voom. Like they like illusion. Think about it. Pisces deals directly with illusion. They like that's another reason why Pisces men are really big porn. A lot of them can be porn addicts. They're addicted to the fantasy. You gotta give them sell them a fantasy. Sell them a dream, girl. Sell a Pisces man a dream. Think about Rob Kardashian. He's a Pisces. Him dating Black China, right? Then he was dating Tommy from Love and Hip Hop. They give me very artificial, very like, IG thigh, like fake body parts, very much flat tummy tea, makeup to the 10. Like, you gotta sell these niggas a dream. Like they like women who are like little dolls and shit. Talk to him about spirituality. Well, okay. So yeah, about that. You got two different types of Pisces. I'm glad you brought that up, Amira. Because you have the material, I don't want to say materialistic, but you have like the glitz and glamour, like I said, perfection of Pisces. But on the other hand, some Pisces, if they're not worldly, they're more spiritually in tune, then those are the niggas that you like, we can do some poetry slam sessions. To be or not to be, Big Daddy, that is the question. Snap, snap, snap. And just appeal to like, the inner poet in him or something. About God and Erica Badu and shit and smoke weed. He might like that. If you are mad at Pisces, they will make you feel bad because they are so nice. Right. Pisces, they be looking at weed now. I mean, or something. Alcohol, a lot of dark sided Pisces do come with a lot of. That's something else I meant to mention, and that's that Jupiter influence. I mean, as well as Neptune as well. But Pisces are the addicts. They're the crackheads of the zodiac. So a lot of Pisces, dark sided Pisces, have really bad addiction. Virgos too. I noticed dark sided Virgos do too, because remember they're sister signs, quote unquote, or opposing signs. And then Sagittarians. Sagittarians are the alcoholics of the zodiac. That's why, the liver is one of our hot spots. If you're somebody who like your Mars and Sagittarius or something, I'm gonna need you to like take it easy. Take it easy on the drink. That's why a lot of Sagittarians are drinkers. A lot of us will drink you under the table. Yeah, it's the escapism, D. Clifford, for sure. I dated a Pisces and he loved how I lost the comment. How I change my hair and makeup all the time. Uh-huh. Yep. They like that. Pisces men love that. Like the glitz and glam and He probably would even be into role play in the bedroom. Was drinking, getting a car accident. Uh-huh. That's why Sagittarius in the third house, Pisces in the third house, you need to be careful. I drank like a fish, so I got a DUI. Now it's just weed and meditation. I don't blame you for that. If you all know weed and alcohol substance. See, I'm trying to tell you. I mean, be careful because you can't overdo it. That's that Jupiter influence, right? Because we don't know when to stop. But shit, it is what it is. I'm trying to think. Pisces in the 11th house. You could be very influenced by your friends. I've noticed. Very similar to the generation that has their Neptune and Aquarius. So these are like your Generation Z people. It is very interchangeable. It's very much interchangeable, excuse me, with that Pisces 11th house energy, which can make your friendships very prominent things in your life. And you have to really be very selective about who you choose to hang around, because they can be to your detriment or they can really help you out. I'm really enjoying this, or I'm enjoying this quarantine in the house, chatting with people I don't know. Me too. Pisces 12th house. Pisces in its home or ruling domain of the 12th house. I mean, is there a planet there? Do you have any planets there in one scene? Because I mean, it typically deals with um, the spirit realm, the angelic realm. Like I said, it deals with, I mean, that's the house of hidden enemies, your undoing, where you can shoot yourself in the foot at times. Pisces Sun, eighth house. That's actually a very, 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 very intuitive house. There's actually very psychic placement. I know a lot of people who have those placements who have very like paranormal experiences, like paranormal, like looking at ghosts and shit. The two fish swimming in the opposite direction are supposed to represent that level of like duality within a Pisces. Like these are people who have one leg in like the spiritual realm and one leg on the like on earth type of thing, like in the water. Like existing on multiple planes of reality or dimensions, integrating like the heavens, the information that comes from being so close to the heavens and the outside world, and then bringing it into this world. Like that's what those two fish are supposed to like represent when it comes to Pisces. Um. All right, y'all. I'm tired. Y'all can't get no 4 hour live out of me tonight. I'm tired. I'm tired. If y'all you can't really explain their personality. What you mean I can explain their personality? I thought I did. Now with Pisces being a mutable sign, they are people who can really adapt to a lot of their situations, like a lot of different people, places, and things, right? Like all mutable signs can. But in general, Pisces are like, I mean, they're also the ultimate alchemists as well. They're very powerful, intuitively powerful. These are magicians, and a lot of them can hypnotize people. If you don't believe me, ask Erica Badu or Janae Ayoko. The ones who are tapped into their spirituality and their divine femininity are, I mean, like amazing. Oh, there'll be whatever is needed. That's right. Same with Rihanna. So, all right, y'all. I'm about to head on out. And it was a pleasure speaking with you guys. And y'all take care. And I will see y'all in the next live. Okay. So good night.